Let's take a look at the build you saw in the ISA using the prototype Dreadnought Cruiser T6, using a phaser beam build. I'm using the Prolonged Engagement Phaser Beam Array, the Terran Task Force Phaser Beam Array from the Terran Reputation, the Sensor-Linked Phaser Beam Array, another Sensor-Linked Phaser Beam Array, and the regular Phaser Beam Array pen. Then I used the Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflect Array from the Fleet Colony, the Prevailing Fortified Impulse Engines from the Competitive Reputation with the Engineering specialty using the Heal will give you the turn rate and boost. Then the Prevailing Fortified Warp Core also from the Competitive Reputation, and the Prevailing Innervated Resilient Shield Array from the Competitive Reputation. I used the Crit Chance one, the Hull Integrity one is nice too. Then that gives you the 3-piece for the competitive set, which is just the hull capacity, the weapon specialization, and the bonus energy damage resistance rating. Then for the Aft Weapons, I use the Trilithium Enhanced Omnidirectional Phaser Beam Array from a mission, I'm not sure which one it is anymore, or one of the newer ones. Then the Sensor-Linked Omnidirectional Phaser Beam Array, and the Kinetic Cutting Beam from the Omega Reputation. Then for devices, I use the Red Matter Capacitor, the Energy Amplifier, and the Subspace Field Modulator. For consoles, I use the Reinforced Armaments, which is the console with the Trilithium Enhanced. And that gives the 2-piece firing, cycle haste, and the flight speed. Then I use the Quantum Phase Converter for the phaser damage. It's also a mission console, I'm not sure which one it is anymore. Sunrise? No, I don't know which one it is anymore. Then Ordnance Accelerator, which is the console from the competitive, possibly. It's from one of the reputations. Also for the phaser directed energy damage. Then the Domino console from the Bajoran Interceptor, which also gives phaser damage and accuracy, but the clicky is nice too. Then the Tachyonetic Converter from the Lobi store for the turn rate, critical chance, severity. Then the Dynamic Power Redistribution Module from this actual ship. And the Point Defense Bombardment Warhead from the NX Escort. Which these two give the 2-piece for the phaser damage, disruptor damage, and plasma damage. And both the clickies are very nice. And then I use 4 Tactical Vulnerability Locators, Epic, Phaser, Epic, yes they are at Epic, and I use the Elite Delta Flyers. I'm not sure which one is the best phaser pet, use that one basically. Then for skills, I use Heavy Tech Focus. For a more detailed rundown, check my channel, I have a video on skill tree there. And I use Miracle Worker and Strategist. I use Miracle Worker because of the pugs to stay alive more. For just pure DPS, intelligence is better. Then for traits, I use A Good Day to Die, Operative, Context is for Kings, Fleet Coordinator, Inspirational Leader, Beam Barrage, Self-Modulating Fire, Superior Beam Training, and Anchored. And for Starship traits, I use Combo for the Storm, Cold-Hearted, Emergency Weapon Cycles, Promise of Ferocity, and Redirecting Arrays. Then for Space Reputation, I used Advanced Targeting Systems, Enhanced Shield Penetration, Magnified Firepower, Precision, and Controlled Countermeasures which procced with Cold-Hearted. And for the Active Reputation, use all the space ones basically. For stations, I use the Tactical Team 1, or I use 2 SRO attacks from the embassy, the Fleet Embassy. Using Tactical Team 1, Attack Pattern Beta 1, Distributed Targeting 1, Chemosite Based Weaponry 2, and FAW 3. Then I use Nyota Uhura and a Krenim Engineer. This could also be a Vanguard Engineer, but I didn't want to respec him with the command abilities. Then the Emergency Power to Shields 1, Oxtabat 1, Emergency Power to Weapons 3, and Oxtabat 3. Then Emergency or Engineering Team 1 and Red and Point Marker 1. and a Pirate Engineer or Efficient Psi 1, which uses Psi Team 1 and Hazard Emitters 2. And then lastly, the Active Reputation, which is, or Active DOFs, which is chance for stacking crit severity buff on firing energy weapons, Space Warfare Specialist Space increased damage versus Borg, Attack Pattern Beta restores hull when firing, and the 3 technicians for the Oxtabat build. And then the Elder Malikitan Warfare Master, Space increased damage versus all. I hope this was useful. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.